see that the individual is insignificant.
The individual has no importance, but your true self is supremely significant. Fortunately, most of the entire universe helps you in this manner. You see, most of the beings living here and elsewhere, wherever they may be, and throughout all time, don't hold you with any importance. They don't even know about you, except in your real existence, which they feel within themselves, each one as I. But in terms of one's personal identity, of a collection of ideas in a particular body, most of the universe doesn't know about it. And even those who know about it, not that many of it care about it. And this is true not only for you, but for everyone. But that which is called Brahman, which exists as I in every one, the real self of all, dwelling in the hearts of all, that is dear to all. That is the treasure of all. And it is with that alone that you should identify. If you do that, if you identify in this way, which is in accord with truth, whether others think of you as important or not, will not be significant to you.
Is thought ever needed for anything? Could there be living completely without thought?
Oh, it's needed for everything. Everything is only a thought. Without thought, there's no question of everything.
Well, that would be good.
So then be free from thought. And then we can consider the question about everything, if there is such a thing.
I had this errand I had to do to Costco yesterday, and on my way there I was thinking, why even use, what's there to lose? Why even bother with thought? So I sort of let it go. Costco's one of those rare things I think that's probably busier than my mind. But I went in and I let go of thought, and there was just this, and it was very peaceful and nice and blissful, and I figured, well, that's pretty good. You could probably do that anytime. You wouldn't need to go to Costco probably, but.
It would be an unusual sadhana.
But
if just being free of the personal thoughts which seem to create such limiting congestion in the mind, just getting a break from that, it feels so good. Consider what transcendence of all thought would be.
That's what I was wondering.
It would be many times over that. Now, if you were to truly be free from thought, you must, as we were speaking about earlier in Satsang, discern what the misidentifications are that are the roots of those patterns of thinking. Otherwise, you will have a temporary abeyance. It'll subside, but it will return. And you won't know why it went away and why it came back. Knowledge is power over ignorance. So discern the roots of your own ways of thinking. The thoughts are being generated from some perspective. They are being conjured up within the context of some definition of yourself. So we may say you trace the thoughts back to those specific ideas that are false definitions, misidentifications. The root of all those misidentifications is the single notion I, the aham vritti in the Maharshi's teaching, the I mode.
What if you just did that? Wouldn't that do it?
Yes. But that includes the destruction of everything dependent on it.
Well, if my mind wants the sort of simple way, would that be it? Rather than doing all the multifarious misidentifications.
It's all of the same nature. The dissolution of misidentification is indeed simple and quite natural. It all has to do with what you regard as your identity. But if you have the idea that you are so entangled in these various permutations of thought and patterns of thinking, and that they are so much part of your identity, that examination of them would be impossible or futile. So let's just quickly dive into this I thought, and I don't have to deal with the rest of this because it's so much part of me. You can see by my description where the fault will lie in that. It'll be the retention of the same old misidentifications, and the inquiry into the I will become more of a mental exercise rather than true inquiry. And a huge chasm will appear between what you're trying to meditate on and what it seems to be constituting your experience. So whether the misidentification is the very root of all, or some definition dependent on the root, the same inquiry applies. For example, if one disidentifies from the body, or one disidentifies from the ego, it is the same inquiry involved. And if one would disidentify from the ego, the misidentification with the body must also be included in that destruction. If we would leave that intact, what kind of ego loss would that really be? There might be an insight, but there would be a huge disparity between that insight and what was constituting one's experience, which in that case would be the misidentification with the body. Or it would merely reduce the inquiry to a mental exercise of thinking about or concentrating on the word or notion of I, while leaving the misidentification completely intact. An intact illusion. So a better approach is to take up the whole spirit of inquiry, and whether it's a particular tendency of the mind, a particular misidentification,